Welcome back, AfterBuzzers, to the Real Housewives of Atlanta after show. So tonight we are talking Dennis just made a mistake. Is Cynthia really moving to LA? And Kenya ain't got no prenup? All that and more coming up for you next.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, you guys. What's up, AfterBuzzers? All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us to the Real Housewives of Atlanta after show. And we are doing season 12, episode 7, What Would Michelle O Do? And it's me, holding down. I'm your host, Erika Edwards, but we couldn't do it without the crew. And tonight it's DaniB.
Hey, y'all. It's your girl, DaniB.
Hey. And we're holding it down, missing Leon and Drew. Shout out to them. Come back.
Come back, guys.
All right, you guys. But stay tuned to the end because we got more news and more tweets than even the show. So these girls keep it coming. So, all right, before we get all the way in, what did you think about this episode?
I'm not going to lie, this episode did not do it for me. I was bored. I'm like, okay, where's the action? It was just a whole lot of excuses from Dennis. The whole time, my eyes were just like, sis, turn this off, please. But yeah, it just didn't do it for me.
I do see what you're saying because one, I think there's still talk about the snake and the Cynthia Gate and the taping. And I'm like, okay, which I get. We're going to listen to that forever. And a lot of therapy action, but nobody getting cured. So very interesting.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. So starting with that, one thing that I did find kind of fun is Porsha. So I'm going to start with Porsha tonight because, she's actually one of my favorites right now.
Me too,
I think she has the most interesting storyline and she just seems to be so comfortable and just she's turning into an OG now. Like she's like, look, I might not have been here from day one, but now that I know that the Underground Railroad isn't underground,
right.
I am doing big things. So I'm loving her. So first we see this really super cute scene with her and Marlo. And it was really interesting, I thought, to kind of see, I say this every week, but I think Marlo is just doing what she can for a peach. Shout out to her wig looking much better this week than it did last week. Yay. 2 thumbs up on the wig. So it was cute to see that Porsha, even though she's, giving Nene the side eye, is actually being cool with Marlo and kind of bonding there. What did you feel about their whole little moment together?
I really like Marlo this season. I do, but I was not here for her taking Porsha to the hot dog factory. Why? And why are you standing for Dennis? Like, I'm confused. If we're girls and he did me wrong, why are you standing for him and calling him and trying to make Porsha say, I love you? This man is foul. What he did was not cute. I was like, okay, as a friend, I would never put my friend on the spot like that.
Right,
I just felt like
I totally agree with you on that. Although I will say this, Marlo did make a big point of saying Porsha didn't really open up to anybody. So maybe she don't know the real. I guess but obviously we all know what we read. So I totally agree with you because I was like, all right, I get that she was standing for him before he cheated while she was pregnant. But now, I thought she was doing the most and wanting them to get back together. But then fundamentally, I think Marlo's all about the money. So she's kind of like, girl, don't turn down those paychecks and work it out. So yeah. I don't know. I agree with you, though. I do feel like she was a little bit too over it, pushing her too hard towards it. And she was just too much like, oh, yeah, I'm calling Dennis. All that was like, okay, y'all not that close. You know what I'm saying? And if you were, then you would not be doing that.
Yeah, and I feel like Marlo, regardless, enough to know that you shouldn't be pushing her to get back with someone that did her wrong, especially knowing that she has a baby involved. I think it was just messy. And I don't think Marlo meant to be messy, but it was just like which side are you on? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, you don't really know Dennis like that. You're not Dennis's cousin or whatever. Why are you so hard for Team Dennis and Porsha is really your girl?
Right.
And one of the things I also found interesting was when they had the discussions about Nene, and it was sort of like, okay, I'm not going to let my man do me like this, so I'm not going to let Nene do me like this, which I think is valid until you stay till the end or whatever. Like, we already know she's back with Dennis. So I don't know. Are you back with Nene? Because it's kind of like, you did kind of... It was interesting because she went so hard on the show or in the beginning of the episode, really. But then you definitely saw her cracking at therapy. And maybe it's not really a crack. Like, I'm not saying she shouldn't forgive him, I guess. I don't really know. But it was interesting because she's been so strong or so like, oh, this was really wrong. I'm really hurt. I'm not just going to take him back like that. And we know she took him back. So it's like, okay. But it was interesting because I almost seems like in this episode she flipped. What do you think about at least once she, got into therapy and stuff?
You could see her kind of like you said, cracking a little bit. Her kind of like letting him in a little bit. And I was like, sis, like, okay, I get it. You don't want to be petty, but like, you don't get a hug from me at the end of therapy. And you just made up every excuse in the book as to why you cheated on me while I was pregnant with our child.
Exactly.
No hug. Like,
exactly. First of all, and then that was like a real hug. Because at first I was like, I thought because she started like she was just going to be fake. And then I was like, she is really snuggling with him.
Right.
And then why do you not have your own car? Why are you in the car with her? Like, I did not like that at all. She's like, can I come over? Like, dude, why don't you have your own car?
And
we didn't come together. However you got here, that's how you get back.
Exactly.
Like, why are you in the car with me? So that was one thing I didn't like. And then two, talking about the therapy session, because that was the thing. They didn't come together. He came late. So how did you get there? That's the way you need to leave. That was my thing. I was like, why is he in this car? Because at first I was like, is she talking to him on a speakerphone? Like, how's she talking to him? And then he's sitting there and I'm like, what? You let him in your car, girl? Then another thing, I want to see what you all think too in the chat or whatever. Well, you were real sad and you had postpartum, so it was an accident or a mistake. And I was like, oh, okay, like, really? Oh, no. And then he said this. This is the part where I was like, well, you was pregnant. It's not something a man wanted to do. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what you trying to say, really? Like, what? And then she's like, but we were having sex the whole, I was like, well, what are you really saying? And to me, his excuses were horrible. Like, you had all this time to think of something. This is what you came up with. You need to talk to somebody because that was bad.
It was bad.
I was like, girl, if someone was just like, okay, you got big and pregnant, so I slept with somebody else, and you were a little down afterwards. So my bad. Like, what?
Or you could have just said it was just a mistake. I just, whatever. But blaming it, you knew when she got pregnant that she was gonna have a big belly and
right, exactly. That's the part where
like not everyone gets it, but some people get it. You knew that it was a possibility. That was like the worst excuse. I'm like, sir, you had so much time to ponder and think of a good excuse, and this is what you gave us. That's
what I'm thinking. I'm like, dude, do you not have any friends? Do you not have a sister? Do you not have a mother? Do you not have any woman in your life to sit you down and be like, don't say no stupid mess like that? Like, to me, really, like, fundamentally, maybe it was this, and this, but it was something within you that caused you to react like this instead of and sleep with someone else and bring somebody else into your situation. So you could have said something along those lines because you were the one who messed up, and that didn't have anything to do with how sad she was or the size of her body. So, and so for her, to me, I mean, honestly, I got mad. So I was like, but she seemed to kind of be like, okay, well, you were honest. Like,
it didn't seem like honesty to me. It just seemed like an excuse that he just came up with on the spot. Like, okay.
I mean, maybe for him, like, that was why he did it, right? Like, she big and fat. I want to hook up with somebody smaller. Or, she crying too much. I'm going to go give me some. Yeah. Maybe that actually did really happen. But you need to look at yourself like, why are you that person?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I felt like he didn't really look deep within himself at all. And you've had a lot of free time because she ain't been talking to you.
Right.
So why didn't you look a little bit deeper into who you were? And is that why you did it? And also, like, to me, it's going to be something next time. Because it's like, because you not changing who you are. You just saying, well, okay, so the next time she get an attitude, what, you're going to go cheat again? Like,
exactly.
That was the thing. And the therapist, I don't know. I think the therapist really wants them kind of to get back together.
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
I got that vibe that she was just like, well, I see that you're hurt. But she didn't really, to me, she didn't really hold Dennis to like any sort of real responsibility for what he did.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. I don't want to judge it and be like, no, Porsha, you don't need to take him back, because that's her family. But I just don't see it, because I feel like the therapist was saying like, you have to build back trust. But like, honestly, trust is like so hard to like build back after someone, like, I feel like it's going to be in their relationship, like looming over their relationship all the time. Because when someone hurts you like that, especially when you're pregnant, it's like, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And I think furthermore that if he ain't made no real changes, then, and he's not really talking about anything he did, he's just coming up with, ooh, it's a mistake. Then, how are you going to stop from tripping into the next girl? So
right.
I don't, what I'm saying? To me, I feel like not only is it going to loom, it's likely that he's going to do it again. Because even though he's sad that they're breaking up, he doesn't seem to have any remorse really for what he did. And, he's being honest and open with her and all of that. But I don't really see... Because to me, like I said, he's not facing, why did you do this? Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's clearly not just because she was sad or because she was big or because of whatever. There was something in you that was like, okay, well, now I'm going to go hook up with somebody else. And
exactly.
You haven't addressed that. So when the next problem comes, you're likely to react the same way.
R.Iman in the live chat says it would be different if he took accountability for his excuses and actions. And Ronnie Media Page says, question though, do women sometimes confuse the relationship therapy issues as mixed with the work to attain a family? Not really understanding. If you can clarify that for me,
because I think, well, I'm not sure if I understand your question, but I do feel like Porsha is really pushed because she wants a family unit for Pilar. I absolutely feel that to be true. But to some extent, she has been through that crazy divorce. I mean, she has had a lot of relationships that didn't work. So I do feel like there's always that point where you're like, okay, I don't want to start over either. So I do see where she might be pushing for a whole family.
Yeah.
And, and I guess the therapist is assisting her with that. The issue I kind of have with even the therapist in this particular, really both of the therapists on this episode, but the therapist right here is that she's not really saying anything to Dennis. And I'm like, well, it's couples therapy. So Dennis, it's not all, okay, what's going on with you, Porsha? And then Dennis comes up with something whack and you act like, oh, okay. Yeah, like that's acceptable instead of going a little bit, because if she's a therapist, maybe he don't know enough to go deeper. I'll give him that. So she should have been like, but what about you made you do this? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, now he's just blaming his cheating on Porsha, literally. And the therapist kind of lets that slide, which I am not a fan of.
Maybe it was just a bad edit, but I need to see the behind the scenes.
Exactly. We need to see the cuts.
Yes.
This looks crazy right here. So we'll put it on the producers for now.
Yes.
But yeah, they need to get that together. All right. So before we move on to our next topic, Dani has something great to share with you guys.
Yes, I do. Before we move on, we just wanted to say thank you guys so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we could really use your help. Please make sure to comment, like, subscribe. If you're on iTunes, comment, all that good stuff, guys. The live chat is lit right now, so make sure that you put in your input in the live chat so we can shout you out and get some of your opinion, join the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz means so much to all of us, and we want to thank you so much for supporting us each and every week. Keep it up, y'all.
Absolutely. And if you're watching right now, you might as well like it because you're already here. All right, you guys. All right, so let's talk about Cynthia. Okay, so Will, no, I'm just joking. He's not ill. He's cool. I like Will. So she's trying to make space for Will, and so we see some sort of lightness with her and Kenya, because Kenya has an immaculate closet, and we all know that Cynthia has closet issues. So so we see a kind of cute little segment there, and they both have a lot to say about these long distance relationships and how they're sort of making them work. And Kenya, although she's a little snarky, as she is oftentimes and a little shady, but she seems to be coming from a place like, girl, don't do what I did. And it's interesting to see how she and Cynthia are interacting in this particular scene. What did you feel about sort of Kenya's advice? Kenya's advice, like, girl, get him to move here first before you move him in, and all that other, kind of her whole.
I mean, I agree with it. You want him to be here first before you move him in, but sometimes Kenya doesn't say things like from a don't do what I did type of standpoint. It's like a judgy type thing.
Yes.
And so I agreed with Cynthia when she was like, how you gonna be talking and you did this, that, and the third? I'm like, but seriously, Kenya, like, you really don't need to be giving relationship advice at all at this very moment. But you know what I mean? But it was just like a friendly
kind
thing.
of. I kind of agree with you. To me, I feel like she should be giving advice because she should be, but she need to be, if she was more authentic, be like, girl, this is how it could go wrong, boo.
Right.
So this is what you need to say. And she, instead of that, she always kind of makes it seem like Cynthia's thirsty. That's how she comes at her.
Like forgetting that she had like several seasons being thirsty to get a husband.
Oh my gosh, girl, you pay people.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? So how are you going to judge Cynthia when in honesty, you should be like, look, this is what happens. We're there on this coast. You're on that coast. Da 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 da. Because to me, she's been so real with Kandi, and we haven't seen that between her and Cynthia, which is actually very surprising. But if she was a little bit more real with Cynthia, then maybe Cynthia could better understand it. Because to me, she should just be like, okay, because if she was really upfront with her about where she is with Mark now and how this separation has affected them, and basically how she's, like. She herself going home every night with him seems like she thirsty now. So it's like, why? If she had really been real with her, then I think Cynthia would have been like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Maybe I shouldn't, when you go all in too quick, this is also what could happen. Yeah. But I agree with you. She's definitely not in a place to judge nobody because it's like, girl, come on now. He's talking to the baby and the baby can't talk more than he's talking to you. So, you're not really in a position to look down on anybody for sure. But you can be like, okay, don't do this because this is what could happen to you. And so she could have just, I thought, it was interesting. It was cute to see them together or whatever, but it was cute to see them talk. And now, what is interesting is, so we do finally get a really decent scene of Will, because we've seen him and he's cute and whatever, but we haven't really seen him in the thick of it. So we see this double date dinner with Cynthia and her new BFF, Eva, because, I don't know, Eva needs somebody to tape with, I guess. So they're friends now, or they're sort of like this new...
weird.
I mean, it's interesting where people are like, okay, I guess I got to tape with you today, so we gonna pretend to be friends. Like, is this what we're doing now? But so she goes on a dinner and some sort of bowling football combination. I've never played that game, but it looked interesting, sort of. And and so they get into this discussion about the taping again. Interesting, sort of. Because I'm kind of like, y'all need to get up off my girl Marlo. I know that.
Right.
But, what do you think about that whole thing with, okay, let's ask Michael, is it illegal and all of that?
Yeah.
It's like,
it was dramatic. It was like, come on, like, you're grown, you know what it is. Like, we didn't need his legal advice about this recording. It is not that deep. They do need to get up off Marlo, okay? Like, I'm tired of y'all coming for Marlo. She is not that petty. I don't think Marlo is like a, undercover spy recording stuff.
Exactly. And more importantly, why would she just go back and be like, Nene, this is what she said? That's it. Like, I don't even think it's that deep to Marlo. Like, really? Because Marlo is such a bone carrier. She don't need tapes. She can just, her word is bond. Like, she could just say it.
Yeah.
And she has enough receipts on everybody. It's not that serious. So I think for them to kind of keep throwing that out there is hysterical. And so they end up playing this little game. Oh, no. The one thing I will say this before I move on to the game was that this was the moment where we really see Will like, oh, I'm so protective of Cynthia, which I was like, okay,
It was too much.
I was like, I'm glad you studied and memorized your lines, boo. Good job. 2 thumbs up. Because it just seemed like acting. I was like, you're doing the most with that. So that was kind of like, it was cute. It was nice to see him in the scene or whatever. But yeah, it didn't feel the most authentic, but we know you're new. So keep working at it.
Right.
And it'll seem like, natural. Because I was like, yeah, somebody wrote that. So then they play this game that seemed like, I thought it was bowling at first, but they're shooting a football into pins or something. Yeah. I don't know. And so whoever wins, the other person has to move. Mm-hmm. And so Will won. So do you think Cynthia's going to LA?
No. No, I don't think she's just packing up everything and moving to LA. Maybe they'll have like another place so that they can, travel back and forth. But Cynthia's not going to LA. Well, I don't think Cynthia's going to LA. She's too used to Atlanta and she's trying to stay on this franchise, period.
Yeah, and this will be the first, I think the upcoming season will be the first time that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has a black person, so they're not going to have two. So not this season coming up anyway. So I don't think so. And then honestly, I feel like if someone were to go to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I do feel like Tanya is a better fit than Cynthia by far. So I don't think Cynthia is actually going to move. So I don't know. Maybe Will move to Atlanta.
And guys, sorry, we are correcting ourselves. It's the mics, not Will. We're sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Both mics, you're fine.
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking it's too many.
I know, right? Okay, right. So thank you guys for correcting me. Okay, and then so that's kind of where it ended with them. Mm-hmm. Is she gonna go or not go? So we'll see what happens with that. So let's move on to the other Nene and her life coach. So we got her life coach made a guest role appearance, and I don't know. Like, to me, the biggest thing is, if you can't even admit to your life coach that you're sorry, maybe you need a better coach. Yeah. I don't know, but how did you feel about that whole? I was like, why? I feel like Nene's running this session is what I thought. So
I agree with you. I was like, okay, Nene, do you have this girl on payroll or something? Like, this girl is like loving these checks you were writing her, because she's just yes to everything that Nene says. Right. She's not kind of like making Nene dig deep or questioning her about anything. She's just agreeing with Nene. Like, and we know from seeing Nene all these seasons, she likes people that do that with her. For example, like, she gets mad at Marlo when Marlo isn't being a yes man to her. So, I mean, I don't expect anything else.
Right, absolutely. But I was like, if this person is coaching you, then they should have some semblance of authority, which none was there. Like, she's like, well, I don't want to apologize if I don't know what I'm apologizing for. Yeah. Like, oh, so now you don't know. Yeah. And exactly. And the life coach didn't recommend anything. She was just like, woo, Nene, you great. Like, I don't even see why you need her if you're that great. Like,
it was just too friendly. Like, girl, what you been doing today? Oh, nothing. Like, it was just too friendly. It wasn't like it just wasn't it. It wasn't very life coaching. I feel like, again, I'm like, Nene, you better make up with these people, because it's nobody taping with you. Like, I feel like you're grasping at people to tape with, because that whole segment was kind of like, okay, she's just agreeing with you, so she's not even. I mean, not that Porsha's therapist was that great either, but this woman literally said nothing. So, like, she was just like, go, Nene, go. Like, she's not a coach, she's a cheerleader. That's what I really felt as far as she went. Now, this episode, and then that was it. So, and, I think we'll talk about that a little bit in the news, but that's all we saw of Nene, which was kind of interesting. So, how them checks looking, girl? You taping enough? Right. And then, so let's move on to Kandi, because I think we got to see a little bit more. We're getting to see a little bit more of Kandi behind the scenes with Kayla, her stepdaughter, and we're seeing a little bit more of Todd, and then we get to see her good old girlfriend Carmen for a moment. So how do you feel? One of the things Kandi has brought up over several episodes is that at the end of the day, they both have the final say on their individual child, even though, they're supposed to be a combined couple now. And Todd is so hard on Kayla, but should Kandi, my still question, I guess it's going to be like this for several weeks, but Kandi still feels like she could give Kayla more, but she doesn't. What do you think about that? And we've kind of discussed this before, and they've been over the same sort of issue about Kayla and her dad, Todd. But I feel like Kandi's been there long enough that she could stand up more. What do you think? Yeah, I think Kandi definitely needs to stand up and throw Kayla some money under the table or something. Right. And just like, y'all are women, like, she's going to be closer to you than her dad, but Todd just is acting like he's raising a boy. Like, she's in her 20s. You act like she's grown with kids and married. Like, she has to be, like, so independent. You can't do anything for her. Kandi's doing stuff for him, though, you know?
Well, and that's what I was going to say. That's what one of the things I don't understand. Because it's like, Todd, maybe you struggled. Maybe you were your own self-made man. But you're not coming into this like, Kandi can't pay for my businesses. Kandi can't buy me this. Kandi can't buy me that because I'm a real man. But you expect that of Kayla. So
Right.
I feel like that's slightly hypocritical because Kayla is basically the only one that seemed like she broke in the family.
Exactly.
Everybody else is riding high on Kandi's money except for Kayla.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's sort of a double standard that I get that you want her to be mature and take, and do her own thing, but you live in a luxurious life.
I think that if you have the means to help your child, you should help your child. And then, there comes a certain time when you are like, okay, like, I've done enough for you. I'm backing up. You're doing,
Right.
But, like, help her get on her feet. Help her with her business or something. You can't, like, she's a girl. You can't just throw her to the wolves and just be like, figure it out. You can't do that with women.
Exactly. And speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about Todd and his 85 businesses.
Yes. Todd, according to Kandi, you have all this stuff in your head, but you're not acting on it, sir. Yeah, we're going to need you to act on it. Your daughter's trying to start a business. How about you help her out? Get her involved in some of these businesses or something, some father-daughter, business doings or something. But, Kandi, are you funding this, sis?
And more importantly, I think we need the producers to cut back to Riley being like, why do you have more kids and you can't take care of the ones you got? Like, that's the truth. It's like you're building this person. And we talked about last week about how he's going to the strip club and the baby only been there a week. It's like you have 85 jobs and you said you wanted this kid, but do you really want this kid? Like, if you want to have all those businesses, I'm not necessarily knocking that, but to have all that and a new baby and a toddler and 2 other children, you're doing the most.
Yeah. And especially if you're going to the strip club days after your child is born, you're not ready for these businesses anyway because you're not even ready for the child.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, you guys. So we're going to close out this episode talking about Kenya. And girl, how you ain't got no prenup and you just met this man 3 months ago? I am so confused right now. Like, I know he has restaurants and stuff, but what you doing, girl? What you doing? And she breaks down in front of the estate lawyer, which is actually not a divorce lawyer. So she probably didn't know what was going on. How did you feel about that whole thing?
You know better. Like, you know better getting into that situation. Like, I know you really wanted a husband and a baby so bad, but no one should ever be able to talk you out of protecting your assets, to me. And he has other kids too. You want your money to go to his kids, and you know what I mean? Like,
right, exactly. Or more importantly too, I think, okay, like maybe her money won't go to his kids, but more importantly, his money is only a trickle might come down to her child. So
Right.
how's Brooklyn gonna end up? So that's the part where I'm like, okay, he had some stuff. And why wasn't, like, I'm not sure why. We need to hear more. Mark,
Yeah.
let us know why you was so uncomfortable with it. But Kenya, yeah, girl, you're not 20, girl. You should know enough to be like, look, especially now that you're like, okay, I want to protect my stuff. Because
Yeah.
now you're still at risk.
Right.
So, and is he going to have to agree to some of these things now? Because, there's a lot of different issues, but I was really surprised by that. And it was really sad to kind of see her break down because it seems like any little thing can set her, can break her down, which I think means that her marriage, even back then, is worse than we even think.
Yeah. I think, like, I feel really bad for her. Even just what we do see on camera, I feel bad. So I know it's probably worse off
Yeah,
camera.
because we all know how fake she is. So it's like, if she could cover,
Yeah.
she would. So, all right, you guys, there's so much news and gossip. So let's move on to our news and gossip. All right, you guys. So the first thing I noticed from YouTube, which I'm going to check this out. Like, I canceled my subscription to Just Fab, but for $39.99 or whatever, you can get like VIP shoes. Porsha Williams, our girl Porsha, is doing a collab with them, and I'm going to check out what her boots are all about because, I love Porsha's style. I think she's really cute. And if she does if she does a collaboration, I mean, I probably can't afford her weaves, but I can afford $39.99. So I will let you guys know if I ever get in those boots. All right. And then let's see here. And then Nene posted this Instagram tweet earlier, basically right after the episode aired. And it's basically she's only being seen once this whole episode. So she's kind of snapping off and trying to act like y'all thirsty and y'all still trying to come for her or all of this. And as Danny and I discussed a little bit before the show, I think Nene is trying to set it up where when she gets cut, it's going to be more like, more like she quit instead she got fired. I think she's trying to save face in case something happens. Mm-hmm. All right, so now here is another Instagram post where they posted a picture and the snake has been blurred out, which is Yavana.
Well, Yavana posted this picture and blurred Porsha out.
Oh, okay. Sorry, thank you. Because a sister's blind up here. Okay, so yeah. So that was cool. And then can you bring this one up a little bit? Or you can read this one if you can read it, girl.
Yes. Someone commented on the picture where Yavana blurred Porsha out and said, how did she start this? And Yavana says she didn't post Porsha because Porsha did a little diddy crop on her and cropped her out.
Yes, I saw that one. I did see the one where Porsha cropped her out, and then she said she cropped her out, which I was like, because I had said this on Leah's show. I was like, well, here's how you crop somebody out. You got to leave in a random elbow or something. So they know they were there and had been cropped out. So you don't have to tell everyone. So yes, I did see the earlier photo. All right, so now this one I did see. So as you guys know, because this kind of went on a little bit last week as well, is that Andy called out Nene on his Watch, What Happens Live about wearing the same dress that she wore, I think, at BravoCon in her confessional last week. And so Nene went on this long tirade about, and now she has to be worried about being called out by the executives and blah, blah, blah. And my boy Andy, who deserves his own temporary peach, came back with a gift from Nene that said, I said what I said. And then Nene came back with a gift or whatever from Kandi that was like, and what you said was some beat bullshit. So I was like, so they had their own little hilarious Twitter battle. So go ahead. And then now Nene recently had a birthday and posted these fab wig photos and these fab pictures that, as we all can tell, were clearly photoshopped. But they look great. You look marvelous. You look marvelous. All right, so let's move on, you guys, to our tweets. Take it away, DaniB.
Okay, we got some funny tweets from today's show. Let's pull up the first tweet.
Let's see. Okay.
So the first tweet, if you know, you know, okay. Nicole_Perez1 says, this is literally Riley and Kayla. LMAO. Y'all remember Brandy as Cinderella? If you know, you know. If you've seen it, this is definitely giving me Riley and Kayla vibes.
Oh, poor Kayla, it's Brandy.
Right. Poor Kayla. Okay, next we have Unconventional says, did he just use her postpartum depression as an excuse for him to cheat? I would have had to pull a Jocelyn, yes, when Jocelyn tore Stevie up at
yes.
Yeah, I would have had to pull a Jocelyn too. Yes. That was just not a good excuse.
Yes, she should have gotten a little gangster right there in therapy.
Just a little thump.
Yes.
Okay, and now we have the Sama26 says, what is this voiceover at the end? I was wondering the same thing. Like, are we on the haves and the have-nots? Or like, what are we watching right now? What is this voiceover?
Very true. What is going on?
Right.
Producers, you're doing too much.
Too much. And now Tress Tiffany 11 says, Todd spending all of Kandi's money while telling his daughter to be independent with this face.
Yes.
I'm looking like that too, sis.
I am totally here for you. I'm like, dude, she is bankrolling your whole life and you won't give your daughter extra 100 in her allowance. Do better, Todd.
Right.
Do better. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. And remember, you guys, if you want us to feature one of your tweets, then tag us, tag AfterBuzz, all that good stuff. Wait a minute, before we truly leave, we'll do one prediction.
I predicted we're finally gonna see #chill, get the proposal and everything, and I'm here for it. I'm ready to see how it all went down.
I totally agree. And I think that Nene is, after all, going to make up with Marlo because she ain't got no friends. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. And before we get out of here now for good, Dani, where can everybody find you?
Yes, I'm your host, DaniB. You guys can find me on Instagram at @DaniB.
All right, you guys, and I'm Erika Edwards. You can follow me on all of my social media at Erika, E-R-I-K-A-D as in door, Edwards. Ciao for now, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.